Time. Live from the city of Los Angeles. It is October 10th, man. We are moving through this year rapidly, but in a good way. October 10th. I'm your host. This is Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What is really good, family? Man, what is good? Always good to be here. Always good to tap in with some familiar faces, man. If you guys are new to the channel, man, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. My goal with every one of these episodes is that when you interact with me and you leave this podcast, you leave this live, you feel better. You feel more confident. You feel more equipped. You feel like you're ready to go out there and tackle the world. So that's my ultimate goal with this. Just in case y'all wanted to know, right? My ultimate goal is to make sure that you guys are going out into that world, because the thing about it is, and this is what I tell my students a lot of times too, I say, this is information now that we live in the information age is everywhere. The thing what people are looking for, what's going on, Joe? God bless you, my brother. The thing people are looking for now is motivation. They can find out facts. Facts don't move people, right? It's motivation that moves people. So I could talk to you about business. I could bore you with all that stuff that you can go find out on your own. And the thing about it is, it's the discovery part that makes the journey all the more wild anyway. So even if you thinking like, man, I got to learn all this stuff. Yes, the journey, dog, the destination is anticlimactic. It's whatever, especially when you're a goal getter, you one of them ones that likes to achieve stuff. You're going to constantly be going after stuff. It's not going to matter, right? You're going to you find one goal, you're going to go after another. So this is episode 9 of season 5, man. This is called What Did You Learn? And the thing about it is, there's a subtitle to it as well, is, everything is for your good. And it took a long time. And when I say a long time for me to really grasp that concept of everything is for your good, right? And what did you learn? Not what was your experience? What happened? What did you learn? And that and that takes that, like I said, it takes experience. One, it takes understanding of yourself to say, okay, everything that I experienced, even the negative stuff, has lessons all up in it. So what did I learn? Right. And I go back and look at my lifetime, every mistake that I've made, and whether it be business, personal, relationship, whatever the case, I've learned from that. I've grown from that. And now I seek out more and more experiences that help me grow. The next experience that I'm doing is putting together a poster for research. I've never done it before. So I'm YouTubing stuff. I'm doing all this stuff, trying to figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I've never done it, but I'm more inclined to admit I've never done something now, right, than ever before. So I'm seeking out these different opportunities in order to not to try to embarrass myself. Definitely not to try to embarrass myself, but at the point to where I'm stretching, right? Because like I talk about, I always recommend the book Who Moved My Cheese. And the reason why I recommend that book, and I tell my students about it as well, is because when you get comfortable with things, right, things change. I was just looking at, I was at a claim jumper. It was an empty claim jumper. I saw another Tony Roma's. And I remember when all these restaurants were full of people. I mean, when I talk about full, bustling with people, and something changed, whether it's COVID or whatever the case may be, somebody moved their cheese, right? And they didn't learn. We just shut down or whatever the case. My thing is, when your cheese gets moved, and what that means is the thing that you rely on every day to go, whether it's your job or whatever the case, you got to constantly be prepared for it to go away, because it happens. Things are constantly in a state of change, and you need to embrace that, right? The minute we stop embracing change, we start to become rigid, and we start to become set in our ways, and we forget and don't even see the opportunities. I was talking to my wife about something, about revisiting some of the same things that we've done in the past, like trying to go back to the same hotels. We've done that, and it's never worked out. Whenever we go back and try to to back to the same restaurant, whatever the case may be, man, it never works out, because the goal is to push you forward. You got to always be looking for new opportunities. This is, and when I talk on this podcast, I'm always speaking to myself, right? And being this is subjective. Everybody's things works different for everybody. Last time we talked about being battle tested. That was a good episode because everybody can relate. Everybody's going through some type of battle. So everybody can relate to being battle tested. Now, learning, that's the thing. So in my consumer behavior class, we're talking about how we learn, right? We learn from our parents. We learn from observing other people. We learn from conversations. We learn from making mistakes, right? We learn from, okay, well, that fire is hot. I put my hand, I burn. Okay, I learned that shit is hot. I'm not going to continue to do that, right? In every stage in life, man, I see my son learning. I'm watching him and I'm like, ooh, I know it's frustrating. But what are you learning? Right. Okay. I'm learning that timing, right? Because he's kind of awkward sometimes with his handshakes and he has his hand standing there. I'm like, okay, so you learning how to and watching people learn is it's a gift, because a lot of times we don't seek opportunities to learn because it's uncomfortable. Because oftentimes it puts us in a position of where we're not in power. When you have to learn, when you have the information, you usually are in more a powerful position. But when you don't, and you're in a position of learning or humbling yourself to ask somebody to teach you something, right? Then it changes the dynamic of how you see it. So most people don't want to feel that way. They don't want to go be uncomfortable. Say, I got to go learn something, or I got to put myself in a position to humble myself. Right? We're always thinking about how we have it all figured out, or whatever the case may be. But I'm constantly looking at that now. I got my confidence to the point to where I'm going to pursue my PhD pretty soon. That's going to be exciting. I don't know when, but I'm gonna start looking at programs seriously and just start to because I've learned a little bit about research. I got in a few studies. I've done my own study, so that should give me, hey, the guy knows a little bit about it. I just need to really tighten up on what areas of research that I want to do. So I'm constantly in a state of what did I learn, right? Every mistake that I've made, learning how not to overreact to things, right? Sometimes you overreact and you make assumptions. I need to reread the four agreements, right? Because my assumptions about people, they're going to say something, or this person's thinking this, or this person's up to no good. You got to get that stuff out of your head, but it comes, right? It comes with the art of suggestion. So, what I've been thinking about and what I've been doing is writing down the things that I've learned, right? I don't have a book yet, but I'm seriously contemplating putting together a book of what did I learn today? Right? What was the lessons today? Okay, procrastination gets you this, right? Not following through gets you this, or not pursuing this will get you this, or lack of, right? You miss out on this opportunity by not responding in a timely fashion. You saw it. We had an opportunity to cook at a certain area, and we missed. I don't know if we missed the opportunity, but it's kind of late in the season now, et cetera, et cetera. And I saw it. And that could have been an opportunity for us to pursue. And I was like, okay, blew it off, and now we want to revisit it. Now maybe the opportunity's gone. What did I learn? That you got to be more proactive when opportunity knocks. You can't sit there and expect it to keep knocking. This is opportunity, right? It doesn't show up just randomly and, hey, I'm here. So that what I learned from that point, right? What I learned about grades and the importance of grades is what I tell my students all the time now. Get A's, dog. Why? Because I learned that when you start to apply and you start to try to get into these more complex programs, they're going to look at your grade GPAs. So you got to make sure that yours is tight. What did I learn about the job game? I learned the job game. I should have paid more attention. I had a conversation with somebody today about jobs. And what did I learn? I learned that, man, you can learn a lot on a job and they're paying you. But most of us look at it as work when it should be looked at as something different. A job is an opportunity to learn an industry from the inside and be paid to do it. My perspective is completely changed. One of the things I tell students all the time, my biggest regret is that I didn't get to work at McDonald's. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, dog, that's my biggest regret. I wish I would have flipped fries, burgers, and understood how that worked. I would have had a restaurant a long time ago. Promise you that. You know what I'm saying? Just by that experience. So what I've learned is humble yourself and pursue opportunities that may not be what they look like that later. right? A lot of times, and this is the problem with relationships. We think we're going to be with who we are going to be with later, right? They have to morph into something else. Your opportunities, your knowledge base, your everything has to morph into something else. So things take a long time, right? I don't know where we get this rush thing from, like everything's supposed to happen really fast. But really good things take long times to develop. And that includes your business acumen, whatever the case may be. You have to try a few different things in life. You can't be to the point where I tried one thing. Well, try something else. Pay attention to the industry. Like another thing I talk to my students about, you guys are gonna keep hearing me say that. Scan the environment. We're talking about that in marketing. And what scanning the environment is that you look around and you start to see what's changing, how consumers are changing, what are some of their habits, how are these going to impact you and your business, right? Because these things will. I saw delivery on the rise a long time ago. I saw it come, and somebody else gave me a point and said they're building all these high rises with no cars, right? So I mean, with no, they don't want you to drive. San Francisco's almost like that downtown. So eventually they're going to get rid of cars, right? Just looking at these things, man, helps you say, okay, well, what's next? Where's my opportunity? When I talk to people about idea development, I start to say, first thing I tell them, man, look around the environment. What are things doing? How are things changing? Where's the demand? What's the need? Because a lot of times you can develop a business out of a sheer need, just paying attention to an industry long enough and looking at where they're headed and what the needs are going to be in the future. Right. And those are the type of things that I'm interested in doing. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention to where we're headed. And I'm in no hurry. I'm in no hurry. I'm just observing things, man. I've taken a different approach to life now. I'm more about just learning. I'm not really in a rush anymore. There's no goal to rush and attain for me, right? Because one thing I've learned is that you have to attract these things in your life. So you have to be in the mindset, meaning that to attract a certain energy and let that thing come to you because it will happen. But you have to be in the right mindset. And desperation and chasing and disappointment and all these emotions that take you up and down, those aren't conducive. Those don't bring on, those don't attract those type of things, right? So you have to add good feeling and good intention and you'll attract what you need to attract. I know that sounds generic and somebody says something about the law of attraction is foo-foo and fluffy. You can believe what you want to believe. I know what's worked for me, right? And I know what I've attracted. And that's been on being on purpose, being intentional. Doing this podcast, I'm telling you, this is therapeutic for me. Excuse me, for a few different reasons. I have to talk. I'm practicing my craft. I told you guys that all the time. I'm practicing my craft. For what? I have no idea. I know I've done 200 of these episodes. 200. That is fantastic. And I'm not just saying that from a 200 reps is dope. I'm trying to get to 10,000 reps. And whatever it takes to get to 10,000 reps, if at when I get to a point to where I'm at 10,000 reps, you will hear the difference in my delivery. You'll hear the difference in everything that I say. But it's that practice, that repetition that we talked about in a few episodes ago, right? That's what I'm doing. What are you practicing? What are you repping? This isn't a job for me. This isn't an obligation. This is, hey, you can motivate people by using your experiences, what you learned today, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever you're experiencing. Last time I was going through battles. This time I'm open to all type of learning experiences. And I'm realizing that I can learn literally from anyone, right? And everyone. And God, all his experiences have notes attached to them, have notes and blessings. So anytime that you go through an experience, you're supposed to write that down because eventually it's going to be a blessing for you. You just don't know when and where and how it's going to apply. But the truth is it will apply. You just don't know when. So I write then I was telling one of my students that, and he was like, he going through his emotions. I said, man, I write all this down, document everything. You document all your struggles, right? Or get on your Jay Prince shit where you saying, man, I got a book of answered prayers. So I was praying for this. I was praying to get out of this. I was praying to, whatever the case, my kids are healthy. I was praying that I graduated from school. I was praying that this business opened. I was praying all these different things. And God answered every last one of them. That's confirmation to show you No matter what you're going through at this time, you can pray your way out of it, right? You can think about it. You can say, God, what do I want? And start to look that direction. The thing about surfing, right? They tell you as soon as you get up on the board, where you look is where you're going to go. So if you look down, your board's going down, you're getting ready to crash, right? You look straight at that beach, that's the direction that you're headed. So when you start to look at where you want to go, you have to get those mental pictures inside you. And I don't care if you have to leave your environment to go see them, but you have to move away from things so that you can change your lens, right? I see things different now. When I came back from Germany, I had an international lens on. I came looking from an immigrant standpoint. So I came back smashing on my goals, smashing on the business opportunities because I came from a different perspective. And the same thing holds true with us, man. We can do the same thing. We just need to flip the script. Where are we trying to go? I started directionally saying I wanted to be a teacher. I want to be a PhD. Walk in that direction. Business owners, walk in that direction, right? I never said I wanted to be an employee. Never. That was never in the goals. Nothing wrong with it. If I was to be an employee, I'd go work at McDonald's. Straight up. And learning, because they say if you're trying to own something, you got to go work in it. I dedicated myself a couple months to a burger place, man. Shout out to my guy Brandon and Oh My Burger. But I dedicated myself to that, learned that, and said, okay, it's about that time to go start doing our own thing. And we started doing that. And I've learned from that. I learned certain fryers don't work. I've learned what works, how much chicken to buy when you overproduce stuff, what to do when you buy too much, right? All these things that they're not they're not faults, they're not things that you have to spend money on. These are lessons that cost, and you have to be comfortable with paying the ticket. You have to be okay with that because you have to understand that it's going to benefit you, short or long run, right? I'm not always going to say long run. Some of this stuff comes pretty quick, right? But you got to pay it, right? I chunk it up to that, man. That was a lesson that I needed to learn because it could have been more expensive than that had something else go wrong or had something else fall into play, right? That's the thing, right? And this, people, I tell people all the time, I'm like, man, listen, business is experiments, it's trial and error, it's figuring it out. And you listen to everybody. Rich Paul just dropped his memoir, Lucky, something like that, Lucky Boy or something like that. Because he'll tell you all the time he had a random encounter at the airport with LeBron James going somewhere else. And LeBron James was on his was a Warren Moon jersey. Oh man, a Warren Moon jersey tight, whatever. And that's how he got on. But somehow, and that's us. That's God. That's how God delivers. He will put it in your lap. He will put it in he'll put the play right in front of you several times, not just once, man. You'll get another opportunity. But you have to be open for those, right? You have to be willing to take that step to in another direction. Doesn't always have to be in the same lane, which is what we're used to, right? Our comfort zone. I'm gonna just keep doing this, right? Why? Because I'm good at it. Okay, well, is there something pushing you another direction to where you can learn? And when I say learn, it's not just for us, right? Sometimes you sacrificing for your kids. You're learning for your kids. I'm learning how to do business. I'm learning how to do all this stuff. I'm learning how to develop suppliers. Why? My kids may have this chicken chain. I may not see the success of it. That's okay. That's ego. If I have to see the success, it doesn't matter to me as long as it keeps going. So I'm learning stuff now, how to leases, marketing. I know marketing, but just different little intricate things that I had to go stretch out and learn. But now I understand, right? Same thing with the transportation. I talked about that too. How many different things I had to learn? How many different industries? In addition to academics and learning that and that whole politic game. But I've been working my butt off, homie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, constantly working my butt off in new arenas. I was telling the homie the other day, we was chopping it up after my podcast. What's up, David? Appreciate you, man. We was chopping it up after the episode. He's like, D, man, I'm just going through it. He's talking to me. I'm like, homie, I said, we in the arena. I said, that's the thing. I said, we gonna take L's. We gonna get scraped. We gonna get, battered, bruised. We might get slammed. The whole crowd like, ooh. I said, but the difference is they in the crowd. I said, we in the arena. I said, we may get our ass whooped, but we also get the glory too. I said, so the thing about that, when you're in a battle, yeah, it's ugly. It hurts, it stings, all that, embarrassing, you name it. But to get it, when you survive it, man, you walk different. I'm battle tested. I walk different, homie. You know what I'm saying? I talk different. Everything about me is different. The way I move in a grocery store is different. You feel me? Because once you've been through, you walked a few halls, like not just juvenile hall and prison halls and whatever halls, you name it, classroom halls, even more pressure, right? Then you start to say, man, ain't too many halls I can't walk down. Ain't too many avenues I can't walk. Ain't too many brick walls I can't mash through. I've seen them all. You giving me another one? This one ain't even really brick. The one I went through 20 years ago had brick and rebar. So the little shit you giving me, that ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Bring it on. I've been through worse. Let me tell you what it looked like and how I learned. And that's why I tell all young homies, document it, dog. Whether you're doing it on a video, whether you're doing it on a paper, document it, homie. Every detail. Talk about your L's. How'd you lose? What happened? Because when you start to talk about it and you write it down and you express yourself, often in that same breath, you have the solution. Same breath. So the one you talking about, damn, I got this issue, whoopty wham, da 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 da. Yeah, keep talking. You're gonna talk yourself into a solution. Cause that's when God working, right? He know what you're going through, but he telling you to vent to the right person. You don't want to vent to somebody who gonna throw it back in your face or gonna gossip to the next person. No, such and such going whoa, 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 whoa. Not that it can phase you. That's what I tell people all the time. They tell me, I don't tell people your business. They gonna whoop you one. Man, ain't nobody got that much motherfucking power, homie. You stripping. You can't block my blessings from over there by wishing me what? Man, you tripping. That's impossible. That's gonna be, oh man, don't tell, keep it to yourself, man. The haters will win. They ain't got that kind of power killer. They not with me, at least. You may believe that they got that power. And the thing about it is, belief is just that. It is what it is. You can whatever you believe, you're right. Period. That's the gift and the curse with belief is whatever you believe, you're absolutely right. So most of it's mental. But what other ways do we learn? Right? Seeing other people be inspired, learning that way, right? We could also learn from people who aren't necessarily making the moves that we like to make. I'm not doing that. Oh, and a lot of times be patient. The things you think aren't going to happen, both positive and negative, be patient. If you think somebody's, man, they doing something wrong and they just did you wrong, nah, they ain't do you. You ain't the only one. It's coming for them too. So I've learned that I don't need to take vengeance in my own hands. I've learned that, right? I don't need that kind of dirt on my hands. My blessings is cool right now. I'm good. I don't need them blocked. So I don't need to get vengeance, right? And even to the point of even getting parking spaces and running people doing road shit. That's over. For what? That's unnecessary. Right now, I'm trying to get too much up to worry about little petty stuff. I got a really good book that I'm reading, right, or just finished up. Well, pretty much on the last one. It's a dope one. It's about this poet dude. I don't know how I came across it, but he just talks about that. Just how to relax on things. You know what I'm saying? And how things will come and they are what they are, and when they'll be here when they get here. We get into this rat race like we got to go corporate. I got to get this. I got to hustle, hustle, hustle. You do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, man, you got to attract it. You got to be that confident person. Like, man, I know God got me. I'm not even worried about it. I'm going to go step out here and go learn some stuff, though. And I know that anything that I experience is for my good. Everything and anything that I experience is for my good. And I got to keep telling myself that. I got to constantly tell myself over and over again, everything that happens for you, D, is for your good. Even that shit. Even that, yeah, that look, Would you learn? Right? And would you learn, D? Man. And you might be sizzling and boiling at this time, but would you learn, D? Man, I learned, okay, I ain't messing with this no more, right? Or whatever the case may be. but you learn, right? And as long as you're alive and you can breathe and analyze the lesson, you up, right? You up. Everything else is just go find. Start rabbit hole. Start with a question, right? If you can't figure it out, go to Answer the Public, as I told you guys in the past. Answerthepublic.com and figure out what the internet's asking about the subject if you don't know. I'll tell my son all the time right now, man, dude, you shouldn't have any questions for me. Seriously. Right now? Nah, bruh. It's too much online. Get curious, dog. You know what I mean? You got the internet, you got all these different advantages, homie. I don't want to hear it. I'm not trying to hear that. I want to hear, Dad, I got it figured out, man. I pulled this up. Because my students are resourceful. When I ask them about a free book or the class book, man, by the end of class, they distributing a free PDF. I'm telling you, the sharpest knives I've seen lately. I'm impressed by them. You know what I'm saying? Very impressed. And I'm lucky to be in a position where I get to experience students and their brilliance on a day-to-day basis. And I'm in constant state of learning all the time. No matter how many times I teach a class, I learn something every time I teach it. So it becomes almost second nature, right? God has really blessed me. I'm not even no doubt about that, man. A teacher in business, another opportunity to pay to learn. This is where people don't understand, man. Go learn something. I don't care what it is. Get curious about it, man. I saw one of the homies out there doing solar, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? Let's get curious about whatever the case may be. Let's tap in. Let's figure it out. And I'm being generic because this is something that you need to discover. I can't tell you what your dream is, right? I can tell you um how I pretty much brought mine to life, right? And it's all and I'm giving you all those tools, but to tell you what you need to do specifically, I got a few episodes on that. You can get in with that. What I'm here to do is give that oxygen, that fire, man, that wake your ass up. Let's go learn something, dog. What's next? It's all for the good. We can't take L's and let it stop us. That's where the enemy's like, oh, that stopped him. I told you he wasn't shit. And God, like, nah, man, my money on God, man. This is my guy. You tripping. Well, how did that stop him? Well, he thinking more into it and not looking at it as a lesson. He thinking there's something that the world is against you, right? The world is conspiring against you. Well, sometimes when you feel like that, what you're going to have to do is sit your butt down. You're going to have to go pray. You're going to have to go take a nap. But you got to get out of you got to get out the field, especially if you're getting tagged and you starting to lose your mentality where you may potentially block your blessings in the future. You got to get out the line of fire, dog, and go take a time out because we get like that, especially when we're going through a frustrating learning process, right? Because we get those where we're frustrated, like, what in the hell is this lesson, dog? Because I am going through it, dog. I can't fit. What is the man? God, please give me the man. I'm tired of the test. I keep failing the test. What is the lesson? And that is the thing right there. We got to figure out what the lesson is. And if we don't figure out what the lesson is, we'll continue to repeat it, right? And we'll get that same experience over and over again. Like, damn, God, again? Yeah, you didn't learn your lesson. And it's the same to some of the same things that irritate us, right? We think it's for our bad, but they're training us, right? Somebody may irritate you, rub you the wrong way on a consistent basis, but you constantly got to come in contact. That's showing you, teaching you something. That's teaching you tolerance. That's teaching you patience. That's teaching you understanding, right? Which is going to serve you because you may get on somebody else's nerves and you may want that same compassion and empathy, right? So everything is teaching you something, how to be more of a complete person, and everything else will fall in line, right? Business is business. I always tell people that business will take care of itself as long as you stay diligent, right? You can try. I was talking to somebody today about that. Man, they got to grow their business. Man, that's work. People are trying to. They went to entrepreneurship for more time, not more work. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people get that twisted. Like, man, I'm gonna get more time. Yeah, if you set it up right, that's the key. And it may take some time to get it to that point. But be patient, homie, and take notes, take copies. No, man, I'm writing this down. What kind of while you going through the BS, you just, man, let me write this shit down. document this. Okay, today, because I can pull up when my bank account got taken when the child support hit me, took the whole thing. I remember writing the entry. I was hot, and I couldn't vent to anybody. Nobody would. Who cares? That's the thing. Nobody cares about your problems. They really don't. Nobody cares about my problems. They only want to hear solutions come out my mouth, and that's perfect because that's all God has. Even the ones who appear to be problems are lessons and blessings, all up in that, homie. So I look for it. I don't like to go through struggle initially. Nah, man, but I understand that God is trying to teach me something. So I'm patient as I don't know what, and I'm documenting everything, right? How y'all using Chat GPT? Just to kind of change the subject, hopefully the right way. Artificial intelligence is doing some amazing things out there. So hopefully you guys are using that to enhance your business. If not, write some of your blog posts. Just a little tip it in there. You know what I'm saying? Some additional things to learn, right? I've learned how to do graphics. I learned how to stay consistent with the market. Man, there's so many different things, homie, that we got to get down with, right? So let's get busy. Let's get to learning, man. This wasn't gonna be a long episode. This is a short and to the point one. Get cracking, dog. Let's go experience some stuff. Let's go make some mistakes. Cause everything is for our good, no matter what. Even if it looks like a mistake, even if it looks like we're not on the right path, everything is for our good. God will correct the path in the middle of whatever you're doing. Man will bless you. Doesn't matter. Homie. I'm telling you, just like you'll hear any other cat who's had experience with God tell you the same thing. Man, the dude don't miss. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the short and sweet one, man. Wasn't too bad. My book suggestion, I do have one for you guys. Oh, do I? Yes, indeed. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Audible real quick so y'all can see. Man, I always try to drop something, man. I always try to drop something, man, because y'all my peoples, man. And I couldn't and honestly, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't give y'all a little something. And the people that are watching this on the replay, man, you know I got love for you too. So always, man, this is all I'm trying to do is just get y'all going a little bit. That's it, man. That's it. Let me show y'all the book. Things no one else can teach is turning losses into lessons. So this is pretty good. Yes, indeed, man. Appreciate you, Joe. But yeah, this book is good. Just finishing it up. He's a hip hop guy. But he's turning it into he's kind of turned it into um a poet, and now he's more of a motivational speaker. But it's really good, man. It's something to listen to. I've been listening to it while I've been in the gym. So it's really good, but it talks about just how not to take things so seriously. How, understanding and patience and compassion, it will take you really far in life. All right. So that will conclude our weekly tap in. Tapping out.